because Christmas has nothing to do with Christ. Christmas is a pagan worship that is about the new sun god. All the
Are you talking about the way it is now? Okay, so because
the way it's always been.
Another episode, another look at what is going on in the world from a Christian point of view. My name is Chinn.
And I'm Nick.
And this is Offbeat POV, where we dive into things that we found interesting over the last week or so. And deep dive, use them as a springboard to bigger conversations that we think we as Christians should be having. Okay, so today's first topic is a man we know very well here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so take it away then.
He's got a soft spot in this studio for you. Now.
No, you've got a soft spot for him. You should say.
You don't have a soft spot for him?
I judge him based on what he does. Whenever he comes up in the news, whatever he does is what I judge him by. But okay. You go on.
Well, I have a soft spot for him, to be fair with you. I think he's a misjudged character as far as I know. Anyway, that's not a discussion for today. So, Tommy Robinson is who we are talking about today. He and his group are putting together one of the largest sort of like Christmas festives in London, quite soon actually, in a couple of days' time, on the 13th of December. Now, the reasoning that he's given, those of you that have been listening to us or following the news or that follow Tommy, you know that he's hard on the fact that UK has lost its identity, especially to the Muslim, Islamic religion, basically. And thus we are on a decline, basically. So he, amongst sort of like fighting jihadi groups that he calls them, or whatever, grooming gangs, and raising his voice about that, amongst that as well, he's also trying to bring Christianity back to the UK, because he believes that could also be one of the solutions that can help the UK with what we're facing right now. On top of that, obviously, he dabs in immigrations as well and things like that. Yeah. So because of that, he and his fellow group have decided to host this festive Christmas thing. He did say that obviously he believes the government should be doing this, but since they are not, they are going to hold it. And now his vision or wishes are that, one, it becomes a yearly thing. So today is the first year of many, to what he hopes. And also that it picks up traction, and, you know, it's a big event. It's a big event for Christians all over the world, that they can come to the UK and be part of this celebration. And on top of that, hopefully, I'm guessing what he would want as well is for if we did go back to being a Christian country, however that happens, is for the government to take it as a national thing and then to be holding it, and I guess that will make everyone happy. Now then, one of the taglines that he's used, which has made me want to have this conversation again around this time of year, is that he is saying, bring Christ back into Christmas. And I said, hold on a minute. We have a little problem here, because we need to navigate this properly, because he's calling this bringing Christ back into Christmas, which is something that a lot of us in Britain can agree on, in the fact that, well, we've lost that. So I would say, yes, it's a good cause. But I'm then saying, well, your tagline is kind of putting me off, because Christmas has nothing to do with Christ, or should have nothing to do with Christ. So
should have or has nothing to do with Christ?
It should.
What are you saying? I say
it for me, it has nothing to do with Christ.
Okay,
but
so
I know,
should it have things to do with Christ?
It shouldn't. I don't think so. And this is where I think this conversation is worth discussing, because I feel like, have we been taking too hard of maybe route to say no, it's pagan, it's devil worship and things like that? Or, you know, or is that the right way to go about it? Because the other side is, yes, we can become too soft, and then, like what we've discussed before, end up worshiping idols indirectly, or being at places that we don't need to be indirectly. There's always a verse that comes to mind every time we talk about this, when Ezekiel was taken up into the spirit and he saw that church that in reality were facing the front, in the spirit they were facing the back towards the sun, Tammuz, and the walls were filled with creepy crawling things, and they were worshiping detestable things, you know. And I believe that's something that we ought to be mindful of in today's life, especially with things that are dressed nice. You spoke a lot about things that are dressed nice.
What's your issue? You're going around a lot of circles here. So What's your issue with the tagline putting Christ back in Christmas?
Well, you
Let's
can't
start from
put
there.
Christ back into something that he never believed in.
Who
So,
Christ
yeah.
never believed in Christmas?
No, sorry. You can't put Christ back into something that he never belonged in the first place. So it's not like we have a Christless
Okay, so let's
Christmas,
start there. Why are you saying Christ never belonged in Christmas in the first place?
because Christmas has nothing to do with Christ. Christmas is a pagan worship that is about the new sun god. All the
Are you
things
talking
that,
about the way it is now? Okay, so because an
the way
argument,
it's always been.
an argument can be
Unless
made
there is something that
to say,
you know.
an argument can be made to say that Christmas was for the Christians and it got co-opted by the world, which is why now it's about Santa and presents and this and this and that. But really, it was for the Christmas and then it got co-opted. So, if anything, this tagline putting Christ back in Christmas is saying, guys, let's go back to the root of what Christmas is meant to be, which is about Christ being born.
I think it's a double-fold deception, right? In the sense that I agree with what you've just said. Under the old falsehoodness of Christmas being about Christ, Britain, which we're talking about, there was a lot more sense of Christmas surrounding Christ. Does that make sense? Once again, I'm finding myself to have to clarify that no, Christmas was never about Christ.
Because so Christmas was never about Christ. Because, okay, now state what you believe. Why are you saying that? Because you're saying that as a point of no knowledge, but someone may be watching this and that may be the first time they're hearing that statement. So explain why you're saying Christmas was never about Christ.
Oh, when you look at the origin, taking this from the biblical point of view, Jesus' birthday is never pointed out. Yeah, there's no clear date in the birth, in the Bible. Two, when you do study the Hebrew calendar, the Hebrew calendar timeline around the birth and things like that, you see that Christmas falls within the springtime, basically, right? Not in the winter, not in the summer. Now, when you do the research, not in the winter, I don't know why I say that. And when you do the Christmas origins research, you understand that it goes back to a ruler called Constantine and how he wanted to unite the people at the time. And he brought a celebration that at the time was known to the Christians, but then mixed it with something else. And that was what I understand to be the birth of what we now know as Christmas today. So the reason I was saying that it's like a double deception for the longest time until, let me speak for myself, until I came to that knowledge or God revealed that to me, Christmas was always about Christ. Yeah, that's why one of the most famous songs for Christmas is Silent Night or Holy Night or Away in a Manger. So that's how it was dressed. So it's like what happened is that those that are aware of that and know that and take that seriously, they have separated that from themselves. But it's something that is really hard to get away from because it is still in the world that we're in. Does that make sense? Now, so Britain is finding itself in a situation where it's claiming that we've lost our Christian values, right? Fine, that's where we are. Now, in him trying to tackle that situation as well, I'm seeing that by what he's tagged this thing as, yeah, even though those were the intentions, to me, it's like he's reaffirming once again that deception that people like me are working so hard to make Christians realize that no, this thing that we're doing is straight up idol worship. We need to come out of it and realize that no, it was never about that. In fact, when you look at the Bible is very, very silent on the birth. What it's highlighting and elevating is the death of Christ.
Okay, so in everything you're saying, should they go ahead with go ahead with this or not? So, for example, someone right now is watching this who let's say they saw the Tom Robinson video, or they know about it. The event is happening. They see what's happening in England. They weep for the fact that England is no longer a Christian nation. They see all the unfortunate consequences of that in society because it's far-reaching. The fact that we're not a Christian society anymore, you can see it in society, not just in politics as well. You can see it in the way people are living their daily lives. That's why depression, anxiety, loneliness, all these things are going through the roof because the church as an institute has been removed from people's lives, right? So someone is seeing all that, they're thinking, yeah, this is tragic. And they watch this video, now they're listening to us. What are you saying to that person then?
Essentially, that's what we've come to discuss here,
No,
and
yes,
I want
that's
to
what I'm
hear your
asking
thoughts
you.
on that actually, because I have,
Oh my
I
God.
have, I have
Hang
been
on.
waffling a
I
very long
phrased the
time.
question. No,
You
yeah.
phrased the question because you keep asking me question after question
But
after
I'm
question
moving us
after question.
along now, because to be fair, I'm not sticking around.
Yeah,
I'm moving
so-
us along a bit.
Essentially, that's what we want to discuss, and that's why I brought this topic, because I did refer to the previous conversations that we've had regarding joining Christian marches and things like that. But with an event like this, that is a poster event for Christian, yet I would say is a false poster event for Christians. I'm saying no, they shouldn't, based on that. You know, I'm saying no, you shouldn't go to the event. This was it's a tricky one, because again, if it's like if it had just been a gathering for the festive, right?
What
season.
festive?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Essentially, that's why I brought the discussion. And my thoughts are still operating, but at the moment, I'm on the fact that no, as Christians, I don't believe we belong there. Which then creates a problem, because he is trying to say we need to bring back our Christian tradition. And that's the sole reason that he's doing that. So how do we navigate this? Because we can both agree with him that yes, the Christianness that was in the UK has disappeared, but then are you agreeing with him that we all need to match and go be there? And if not, how do we navigate this situation, being that we agree with the fact that we need to go back?
I mean, for me, I don't see an issue with it. I'll be honest with you. And the reason I don't see an issue with this, because maybe, you know, every time we've been talking recently, I've been saying that my understanding has started shifting a little bit around certain things, right? And the reason I don't see an issue with it, that's not to say I join and do Christmas festivities and I do Christmas and whatnot. I haven't done any of that in
So if you
many,
don't
many
see
years.
an issue with it, why do you not do that? Because I think we need to be one of the things.
Let me explain.
Yeah, go on.
Let me explain. I think there's levels to this, right?
Oh dear.
There's levels to Christianity, right? And I think sometimes long-term believers are a bit unfair with the expectations for either new believers or those that don't know. I'm not saying that Christmas is a religious holiday. Whether it is or not, that's not the point of what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there's a group of people who understand Christmas to be a holiday that was about Christ, but is no longer about Christ because of, obviously, you can say the world has taken over, but in recent years, actually, the issue is that other religions are causing it to be diminished, because it's like, oh, well, we can't be too, it can't be, I think there's some people even talk about not calling it Christmas anymore, but they call it the festive period.
Yes.
Because
I
to say
think I use the
Christmas,
same-
because say Christmas is to connotate Christian, the Christian roots, and therefore that may be, I don't know about offensive, but maybe it's just about being considerate of other religions and other whatever. And so people are seeing this and they're saying, hang on, no, but Christmas is about Christ. It's about the person that we believe to be our Lord and Savior, who died for us and raised, and resurrected and whatever. Therefore, no, we need to take this back to what it's about, right? And for me, that spirit, I'm like, okay, fine, crack on. Now, like you said, and I think maybe this is how we view it differently. Because if I'm in the presence of someone who thinks like that, I'll be like, oh, you know what? Great. Well done, Georgia, or well done, Stephen. I think that's really good. You are right. Christmas shouldn't be about presents or whatever. It should be about Christ. And then, if we have the time and the space, I can go then a step further and say, you know what? Maybe let's look at the origin of Christmas. Like, is it really even about Christ, or should it be about Christ, or whatever? But for me, that's like level 5. And for me, it's like. The way I view it, I can't take someone who's at level 1 and try to tackle them at level 5, because if anything, I'm just going to come across as an angry guy on the internet shouting conspiracy theories. But they're not conspiracy theories. It's a logical progression of faith and of knowledge and of growth. So yes, what I'm saying is those who, because there's a large amount of Christians who believe that Christmas is about Christ. And I can't sit here and say every single one of them is lost. Some of them are, some of them are not, right? I don't know who that is. All I know is that a lot of them believe that's the case. And if they want to fight for their holiday, let them fight for the holiday. And should the opportunity be presented to me where I can take someone beyond that holiday, then I will do so.
I think I agree. I think that's where we definitely go separate ways, because they shouted, "Who is like unto the beast? Who can of one mind?" I am very cautious, and I want us to be cautious. And by us, I mean as Christian people, especially of that mentality of, it's almost like we know it's wrong, but you're almost saying that, yes, okay, fine, we'll go with it for now, because
who knows it's wrong? Because the people doing it don't know it's wrong.
I know. So we're talking about the voices in the wilderness, the ones that know, the ones that shout. So, by that, I mean anybody that it's been revealed to. So in this room, it would be you and I. Yeah. So now we are like, okay, fine. It almost sounds to me like we are to pretend and be joined and go for it, because the long game is, well, after that, I'm then gonna go to step 2, step 3, step 4, and then by the end of it, you'll be out, I'll be out, we'll be out. As a method, fine, I guess that's fine. But for me, I'm very cautious of that, because I think I've spoken about this quite a lot. I don't know how this beast, this lawless mass, this leader, preacher, whoever they are, is going to to get everybody to be of one voice, right? But that's what they are going to do, because that's what prophecy tells us, okay? And I strongly believe it's not going to be something clear to say that, oh, worship the devil, worship the devil. I do believe he's going to come as like an angel of light when he's actually of the darkness.
Okay, what's the relevance of that here?
So the relevance of that is, for me, we need to be straight up from off the bat. Christmas is not about Christ. There's not even, or I support your spirit, or I understand what you're saying. I'm not for that. It's a clear cut. I'm not talking about shouting at people or whatever. With understanding, with humility, with patience, because we know we were once there. Jude says that, we were also snatched from the same fire. So this is not about pointing fingers and laughing, nothing like that. Yeah. In fact, I think in recent times we've started going to families that are holding things around the period, whereas before we may not have, but nowadays we're there. So I'm not talking about what are you doing, but the message has to be clear. The message has to be, it is not off the bat, it is not of Christ. If your mind is even thinking remotely to that, you are lacking knowledge. So
you're lacking knowledge. Okay. Yeah.
And thus you could, because of my people perish because of lack of knowledge, because of that, you could find yourself in gatherings, in groups, in the presence of the calf, unknowingly. And that is something to be fearful of. That is something to be cautious of.
Okay. Right.
You could find yourself in the temple of Baal, knowing. Now, that doesn't mean that you're lost.
No.
It doesn't mean that you're lost. It doesn't mean that, but there will be, you like this, there could be consequences, severe consequences of you being in places that you're not supposed to be.
But again, everything you're saying to me sounds to me as if you're talking about someone who knows what they ought to do and isn't doing it.
No. I'm talking about people that don't know. They could, so I mean,
but if they don't know, they don't know.
If you don't know, you don't know, but you're still in the presence of, in a place that you're not supposed to be. So it's the duty of those of us that know not to massage people, but to be clear and straight with them. I understand what Tommy wants to do, but I cannot tell you people, go, because yes, we understand what he's trying to do. I will tell you, let's hold evangelical rallies, let's hold prayers, let's hold worship, let's hold whatever we want to hold, but do not lie to yourselves to say that, oh, Christmas is about Christ, or we're bringing Christ back into Christmas, so we are going with that spirit of bringing Christ into Christmas. That one, leave it. That celebration is not for Christians. Tommy should not be holding that festive in the name of Christianity if he was a good Christian or a mature Christian himself, I would say.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will take your stance on it. And listen, sure, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. I have no grounds to say that it's a terrible approach. these days it's not the approach I would take, but it's a valid approach. You know, there are prophets who came and were like, listen, Israel, you really need to turn back to God. Like, you know, you're really treating God like like a prostitute or whatever. Turn back to God. And there's some who came and say, God is going to destroy you. Like, you know, you wicked of people, you stiff-necked people, God is going to destroy you. So prophets, you know, same prophets from God, but the message is different. One is a calling back, one is a call of destruction. So there can be difference in tone and in messages and everything. I accept that. I appreciate that. An interesting thing though, you know Wes Huff?
Yeah, of course.
Very interesting Christian.
Very intelligent.
Very intelligent.
Smart.
He actually makes an argument that Christmas was a Christian thing that actually got corrupted. And so
I would agree. It got corrupted at the time that Constantine merged them. So yeah.
Again, it's you mentioned Constantine, and the thing is, I'm not a history buff.
No, am I? That's the only word I know. And that's why I mentioned it sounds smart.
But that's the thing, because that's argued against. Because things like Constantine and Nero and whatever, they're like the headline things. People know whatever, but you know, people like Wes who know their stuff. You know,
they want us to think they know their stuff.
I mean, he's proven. It's not what the whole Billy Carson saga was about.
Absolutely.
He said that no, you think you know, but I know. He didn't say that, but the whole world saw that. But anyway, the point, it's an interesting argument that he made, because his whole point was that Christmas as a in celebration or an institution was actually there from the early age of the church age. People were gathering to remember the birth of Christ, and you know the whole you know the whole spirit of Christmas. Obviously not in the way it is now, but because the whole spirit of Christmas is remembering that Christ was born. You know, the savior of the world was born, and then it is through that actually you know it got co-opted by pagan nations,
and then they gave it a day,
and then
they gave it a Christmas tree.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly.
I mean, so I agree. We still arrive at the same place that today it shouldn't be celebrated.
Shouldn't be, or can the argument that Tommy is making is that when you take it back to Christ, then be more valid? Again, I didn't take time to look into it because there's some things I'll fact check. There's some things I'm just like, that's interesting. I'll keep it moving.
In that case, yes, what Tommy Robinson is saying is right, as long as it's going back to what it was before it was corrupted. So that,
which would be very hard because no one was around then.
Because right now it's a pagan celebration.
Well, I mean, okay, so just in closing then, because this whole let's leave it thing, because should Christians be having celebrations and festivals throughout the year?
The feasts are there if you want to celebrate.
But
celebrate.
But there is
join the Jews.
But they're Jewish feasts.
I
Christians
don't know.
Are not Jews.
Honest
because the issue is with people like you is I think you come across from a perspective where it's like Christians can't have any celebrations.
I don't know about that.
Or they shouldn't be celebrating anything, and it's like as soon as they're celebrating something, and it's like, hang on, the fact that God gave, and this is a homemade theory, but the fact that God gave the Israelites 7 festivals throughout the year, I think it is part of the human experience or DNA to have things to celebrate in the year.
Well, then hold your events to celebrate. I don't know what the issue is. Just leave Christmas alone. Leave Halloween alone. Leave Mother's and Father's Days and Valentine's Days alone. Those are the world's celebrations.
I can
call your own celebrations.
I can agree with all of that. But the issue is, if Christians next week came out and said, okay, guys, we're going to start having a celebration on this day, this day, this days, people like you and your fellow people, and then they'll be like, oh, no, this is another good... And it's like, guys, can Christians just not gather and have a good time?
No. I'll tell you what, Chinn. Let's jump to our pastor conversation off the back of that, because so that I can straight up disagree with what you've just said. When you're saying people like me, okay? There was a clip that was shown around of a pastor celebrated enjoying himself in the church of God. In the church of God, I'll leave it there. And I came across this and I thought to myself, oh, that's nice, considering what we had spoken about last week about, you know, yes, there is such a thing as Christian dance, or you can't dance as a Christian in glory to God. Although you did say that, well, not in the church though, like you were saying, not in the pulpit.
Certain things not in the church. Yeah, it's about appropriateness.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I saw this clip and I said to myself, well, I don't know. Like, I tried to find something wrong with it, but every time I watched it, it put a smile on my face, to be fair with you.
The issue is, why were you trying to find something wrong with it?
Because that's how my brain works now. Everything that the world is doing. Take a look at this and then you let us know what you think. Take it back.
You have to walk past that dance. That's the thing.
Take it back.
You found the one clip that's like, yeah, no, that's fine by me.
Honestly,
that seems like a vibe though. Seems like a vibe.
Honestly, and the thing is that I don't know, but that did kind of make me smile. I'm not gonna lie. I liked watching it. There was a certain humility that he walked up with, and then he did the whole dance, and it's like even after he was done, it was just like that's a humble man thing. He was not showing off. He's not Mike Todd. Look at me, I can do ABCD, pouring syrup on Bibles. He's not that. I don't know him. I don't know his doctrines, can I just say? I don't know his teachings or anything like that. This is based on a 10-second clip of him dancing. And I thought to myself, yeah, David did that in the presence of God when the ark was coming. If he was a good break dancer like that, he was definitely doing that, because he was not just jumping up and down, He said, and David danced, and that's dancing. I don't know. What do you think, considering we spoke about, sort of like break dancing in our previous episode?
I wouldn't say everything you've said about him being humble or
if you can talk about someone having kind eyes, you can definitely acknowledge his humility walking up. Do you want me to play it again?
No.
Do you want me to play it again?
I don't know if humility can be seen in him walking up. But listen, if that's what you see, that's what you see. I'm saying that's not what I see.
That's what we
No,
see.
No, that's not what I see. All I see is a pastor who is enjoying his church and having a good time. He went up, did his dance. It was a nice moment. I have no issue with the moment. But I wouldn't latch on everything you've said to it. But I wouldn't make any judgments in regards to any of that.
Analysis. We're analyzing.
Yeah, analyzing wise, it seems like it was a praise session in church. It was praise time. The pastor gets caught up. He went, did his little dancing. Yeah,
now you come back next week. Now the whole praise team has put together a choreography and they're all doing that.
Again, it depends on a case by case basis because
that was in the moment.
This was a moment thing. It was just enjoying and it was just short thing as well. And it went on. Like you say, it didn't become a show and a performance and whatnot. Next week if the praise team comes, that's now it may turn into a bit showy and performancey, and then the next week is okay. Let's do it better next week. Let's do it better. Let's get more
enjoyment
people.
or in the moment.
And sometimes it's just as simple as that. Sometimes it's not so much what you're doing; it's just what spirit are you doing it in. Because if it's done in just joy and pure fun and enjoyment and enjoying the presence of your people and God,
like what we do here,
then it's fine. Then it's fine. The angels in heaven are smiling, laughing, but then it could be doing the same thing. But now it's just there's a spirit of competition and spirit of it gets corrupted. Yeah,
I do this better than everyone else.
It just gets corrupted, and now it's like, well, now you're just being improper in the sight of God. And so sometimes it can be as simple as that, and sometimes. Have a good moment. Don't try to recreate it. Just enjoy it.
Just to close off, would you like to take your words back about people like me?
No. I still stand by that. I still stand by that.
Now you can see what I have to live with, guys. But anyway, so that was an interesting episode. Chinn might have to be a bit creative with this one. So if what you're watching is not 2 hours plus. Just know that there's another video out there somewhere where we went onto a tangent, but a very, very interesting tangent. So do look for it. Do jump on it. However, for this episode and what we've discussed, once again, thank you very much for tuning in, for listening, for staying for the full episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will be back here next week again, discussing another topic as we always do. Remember, the world is busy dancing to its tune, and we ought to be offbeat.